Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a neat little trick I discovered to use your Bluetooth headphones. I'm using Airpods Pro with Pro Tools. So you go to the Output tab in the I/O setup and you click on Aux I/O and then select the Output checkbox there, Pro Tools Audio Bridge 2-A. Okay, we've now got that in our I/O setup. Next, we move on to setting up a second master fader. So I've got one master fader where outputs 1 and 2 are going to, and then I'm creating a second master fader for the AirPods. So I created that master fader and I'm just going to call it AirPods. Next step is to go to our audio track. Now I just have one stereo track here, but you could have 100 tracks, doesn't matter. Then you go to set the output of your track. So it's normally set to 1 and 2. I'm going to hold down Control and also select Pro Tools Audio Bridge 2A that we added in our I/O setup. If you're doing one track, you just hold down Control and select the additional output you want to use. For multiple tracks, you click Control-Shift, and you see a little plus sign there. So now my audio track is going to 2 separate outputs. And on the AirPod Master Fader, we're going to go select Pro Tools Audio Bridge 2A as its output. And as you can see, my audio track is now feeding both master faders. And I can fade my track down, fade my track back up. They're both independent of each other. So now, make sure your Bluetooth headphones are connected to the computer. That's number 1. Now we're going to go to the System Preferences Sound Output tab and select our AirPods Pro or whatever you're using for Bluetooth headphones. So under hardware, you can see that I've got my mixer is selected as my interface, and under sound preferences, I've got my Bluetooth headphones selected. You didn't used to be able to do that with Pro Tools, but thanks to Aux I/O now you can. So the final trick, and this is the clincher, launch QuickTime, create a new audio recording, and then select the Pro Tools Audio Bridge 2-A to be your sound source. And you want to set it to maximum quality. And you don't have to record. This is just a method of monitoring. So now we hit playback on Pro Tools. You can see we got audio going to our AirPods fader. And the last thing you got to do is bring up that fader on the QuickTime player, because if you don't, you're not going to hear anything. So just crank that all the way up. Now you have separate feeds and control of your studio monitors and your AirPods. And another way to do this with my method is to use an aux track to send all your audio tracks there first. So we're going to go up here and we're just going to select bus 1 and 2 to go to the aux track. And then on the aux track, we're going to select the input to be bus 1 and 2, which I already have selected, but we're going to do that again. And then I'm going to go to the output tab of the aux fader and send it to both places, holding down that control key so it allows you to select 2 different outputs. And there we go. We have audio from our tracks going to the aux fader, and that is feeding the 2 master faders. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Lance, why are you doing it this way when I could be using an aggregate device or a multi-output device? Those both work, but with caveats, and we'll go through them. So with an aggregate device, you're basically combining your AirPods with your audio interface, turning them into one device. And while with the aggregated device, you still get all of your inputs and outputs with your interface, the problem is if you take your earpods out and stick them in their case, or you walk away from the computer for a minute to get a cup of coffee, Pro Tools is going to lock up because it's no longer going to see its interface. Kind of like what happens when you power down your interface and Pro Tools is open. And the other option is to create a multi-output device, but that totally limits the I/O of your interface. You don't get any inputs, you only get outputs, and you only get a buffer at the maximum setting of 256. I'm not sure why that is, but that seems to be the case. So if you just want to check out a big mix, with a lot of plugins and it's got a high buffer setting, you're not going to be able to play it back. Just for the heck of it, I tried to see if I could add another set of AirPods to a multi-output device, and it did work. So Pro Tools was able to stream to both sets of AirPods at the same time. So that's pretty cool, but again, you're limited by the buffer size and the I/O. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you got a better way to do this, please leave a comment, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next Max Sound Solutions video.